Okay. What's good? It's your boy, TravTheRealist, and this is my brand new show, if you don't mind me asking, featuring TravTheRealist. This is the first show inside my studio. I got my boy in here with me, my boy Reggie Montana. Do you still even go by Montana?
Yeah, man. Like not all the time. Like Reggie J. For people that know, they know Montana. You know, back from the college days. So, but yeah,
Give that boy a round of applause, man.
God did.
But I haven't seen you in a minute, man. So I just wanted to catch up on with you,
Yeah.
see how you doing, different things like that. But there's one topic that I want to talk to you about, and I kind of think you're the perfect person to speak to it on.
Okay.
And that is how important is your image to you?
Man, it's very important to me. I will say that. My name means something to me. And I know there's people that came before me that afforded me the opportunity just to live a certain life and to be the best I can be. So in order to continue that standard of living, my name means a lot. My image means a lot. So yeah.
So to get a little bit deeper with that, do you feel like you having to uphold your image make you not truly live the life you want to live?
Um, nah, I wouldn't say that, bro. Like I live the life I want to live, um, through trials and error, right? Like we all make, for a lack of better term, mistakes, missteps, and what have you. And I think through that process, I learn who I really am, and then therefore I learn who I want to be and become as a person. So, no, I don't think it changes who I want to be and who I am.
Okay, so I'm not gonna let up off this topic because the reason I say this is it is not even just for you, but
Hmm.
I had a couple homeboys I reached out to from back at the crib and out here, and a lot of times they be like, "Hey, like I don't want my image to be ruined
Sure,
by going on a show like this."
sure.
And a lot of times I tell my friends is like, I would never put you in a situation where it will be a detriment to you and your livelihood. But I also feel like there comes a time where I was concerned about my image, where it was like I wanted it to not hurt anybody's feelings. I wanted to appease all.
Yeah,
But I learned, I don't want to say I learned, but halfway through that process, I'm realizing that I'm not really talking, acting, being who I want to be because I'm so worried about being politically correct, not hurting nobody's feelings, not making it seem like I'm an a-hole.
hmm,
But it gets to a point where it just be like the people who know you know you. You know what I'm saying? The people
yeah,
who really want to be around you, people that really love you, they're gonna love you regardless. So for me, it's just like, why, especially in a social setting, do we have to be on our P's and Q's all the time? 'Cause I'll give a perfect example. One of my new favorite podcasts is It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace.
for sure. That's
And they
good.
doing numbers and like they don't I'm pretty sure how they talk on that show is how they talk with their homeboys and all of that. And that's kind of what I want to get to at when it comes to my media, but also know that, I have a lot of friends who are in not I wouldn't say high places, but they're in places where, their name does hold weight.
For sure, for sure.
So it's like a healthy balance. Cause I was also watching like an old interview where it was like do you know Patrice O'Neal?
Nah, that doesn't ring a bell. No.
Well, he was a comedian, like he was like a Kevin Hart OG, different things like that. But he was interviewing Ludacris back like in '08,
Yeah.
and with these two other like white radio hosts and things like that. And they was pretty much asking them about like politics, things like that. And Ludacris was just giving the right answer. And the whole time they was kind of buzzing his balls saying like, yo, you really don't feel that way. Like you're
Mm,
just kind of try to say that just to, be correct. And Ludacris was like, well, I came here to promote a movie. I'm not here to really like, talk about politics, get into this, that, and the third. And at the end, they kind of had a conversation where they were just like, yo, it must suck to be at such a high point in Hollywood and you just can't be yourself.
yeah. No, I think what I will say is just speaking specific to that situation, like there's a time and place for everything, right? And I think some people may not understand that. Like there's a time and place to, like you said, be with the homies and stuff like that. I feel like you can do that in a lot of different settings, but sometimes that version of me, I'll speak for myself, like that version of me isn't needed in certain environments, right? Um, but it can be a point in time where it's uncomfortable. And I will even say this too, like we all code switch, for lack of a better term. Like there's certain environments where you'll see Reggie Jennings, the professional, right? And there's sometimes you'll see Montana, a controlled version of Montana, right? So I think just overall figuring out what environment you're in, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to be, is important. Because obviously for Ludacris too, right? Like there's consequences, good and bad, right? For things that we may say and or do, regardless of who you are. So Ludacris in that scenario may have thought, like, okay, what could this potentially do to X, Y, and Z opportunity or future opportunities, right? Not saying he would never speak what he truly feels, right? But in certain environments that calls for certain things, sometimes it doesn't call for certain things too.
So the piggyback off the whole code switch,
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes only people of color code switch. I don't really think Johnny, Mikey, I don't think they code switching like that. A lot of times when I see like, high professionals who are white,
Mhm.
they have a personality to them where it was like, all right, it's distinct, where it's not like, it's cookie cutter, where it's like, say if I go up into my hotel chain and I become like, a high exec, I gotta kind of talk a different way. I gotta kind of walk a different way where it's almost like I'm taking away from my character just to seem kind of normal. Where I
Sure.
also had situations where I interacted normal with some of my higher ups and they liked me more because it was like, oh, this dude actually is a
Right.
person.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's code switching. It gets a bad rap, but I think it's sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, so there can be some kind of fear associated with like, man, is who I am truly going to be acceptable in this position, right? Like, I know a quick funny story. One time at work, I was talking to a colleague, and just for context, I work in real estate development. Work with it's a completely woman owned company, and it's about 10 of us, majority women. I'm the only black guy, one or two guys. I was talking to an older woman on the phone, and I was helping her out with something. One of my colleagues, and kid you not, we got done ready to wrap the call up, and I was like, all right, bet, I'll take care of it. And I got off the phone, I was like, I know I did not just tell this 70-year-old woman, white woman, I bet. Like, I was like, oh God, but it was no issue. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me specifically, I've learned to kind of combat that fear. You know what I'm saying? Even if it happens on accident, for lack of a better term. So, and then too, it's almost thing of like, I'll push back on this when you said that you feel like our community is the only one that has to code switch.
Well, people of color. I'm not saying
So
I'm
yeah,
talking all like
yes,
color. Yes.
people of color have to code switch, right? I think yes, and also I do believe that our white counterparts they code switch as well too. Like I'm pretty sure you've seen them in additional settings, or I know I have, right? I've seen them at work, and then even at work parties. When I worked at a former institution, hey, the Christmas party lit. I'm like, there's no way she's behaving like this. There's no way, and that's really her. But on Monday, Tuesday, hey, good morning, Rich. How you doing? All this stuff, right? So I think for us, because unfortunately, obviously, we're in a land that was taken over, right? And those that did take it over by force implemented certain what was deemed acceptable,
Mhm.
right? And I think for us, recognizing that majority of the time, who we are, not all people will accept it, but I think as we continue to progress as a society, we'll start recognizing that, hey, like I can actually be my true self in these situations. And sometimes I tell people, like, look, test the waters, see what happens, right? Like, and I'm not saying go out there and get to, if you cuss around your homies all the time, that's not probably the proper thing to do, or obviously that's an aggressive statement or example. But if somebody likes talking about anime, wrestling, bring them up in conversation. You feel me? And kind of see what's going on. So
So it's funny you say that because I'm a manager in my field in my space,
mm,
and when I hire people, I always tell them like, hey, like don't be who you think I want you to be. Like I want to know
Right.
who you are because let me decide whether this can work or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to be the perfect person during this interview, and then over time we peel layers back, and I realize that you really not who you say you are. And that's kind of like with the whole code switching, where for me, I kind of feel like with these celebrities, it's like, you put this experience, you put this a whole, I wouldn't say facade, but you put this image up,
Yeah.
and everybody think you squeaky clean. Then the one like little video slip, or maybe a Shannon Sharp or something like that, and now it's like oh, he a creep. He did that in the third word. It's like we all just human. Like, and I
For
wish
sure.
that we acted like we're all human because it's almost like people get so shell shocked when they see stuff on a TV, one of these celebrities, when it's like you doing just as much dirt at your crib.
Yeah, man. It's and I'll say this too. Kudos to you, bro, for doing that. Because during the hiring process, for some people, obviously it's very stuffy, and they feel like from what they've been told and what they've seen, like I have to behave this way, I have to perform this way, right? I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times interviews are performative, which then puts a stress on the hiring manager and the company to kind of peel back those layers. Like, okay, are you just saying this because you know what to say and how to say it, and then once you get on a job, like you trash or
Mm-hmm.
you're behaving a certain way? So I commend you for doing that because I'm pretty sure that lets a lot of people guards down. Not in a way to be manipulative, but to really see like, hey, like I want it to be a mutually beneficial conversation. If it's something that's good for both of us, that's a bet. Like you got one step closer. If not, cool. I saved you time and myself time during this process, and I think that's what I'll speak just from a professional standpoint. A lot of companies are missing. You know what I'm saying? I've been in obviously plenty of interviews, and like you said, people just want you just to be there, just to be a performer a certain way. It's like that's easy to do for some people, not all people. Um, but actually allowing somebody to be their true self is actually a mutually beneficial circumstance, situation in those kind of sense. And I think just in general, if you meet somebody at the grocery store, right? It's like, hey, do we mesh? Yes or no? Cool. If we do, cool. If we don't, there's a quality experience for whatever the situation may be.
So you gave that one experience about saying like bet with the one lady on the phone,
Yeah.
but do you have like any other scenarios where maybe somebody got you out of your character
Oh,
purposely at work, where you was like you had to catch yourself and be like, you know what, like I gotta the real Reggie, oh not the real Reggie, but like
yeah.
it almost got real for a second.
Yeah. No, so to a point where I like, as they say now, like crash out. No,
Mhm.
because I'm not really it takes a lot for me to even get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The older I get, some people will push you there though.
this is correct, right? And I pride myself on thinking quickly and with poise, right? Because that allows me to put myself in the best situation in the midst of chaos, right? I think
Mhm.
obviously for those that don't know, me and TravTheRealist, man, we played ball together in college, man. And one thing I appreciate about the game, what it taught me, especially playing defensive back, is not overreacting in any kind of circumstance or situation, right? Whether it's chaotic or great, never get too high, never get too low, because I need to always think and be of clarity of thought. So there was a point in time at my gig where there was some shift in movement with leadership, right? Like I said, small company. And long story short, one of my bosses uh, really didn't know each other too well, right? Because we're in two separate offices. Uh, one's a little bit further down south in Texas, and obviously we're up here in DFW and Metroplex. And pretty much, it's like she didn't believe that I wanted to be at the company and things of that nature. And I'm like, well, where'd that come from?
Mhm.
And essentially, without getting too much in the weeds of the details, she felt that some of my outside endeavors, like I want to do that more than doing what I do now. And I was like, well, how'd you even come to that conclusion without having a conversation with me and knowing who I am?
And quick sidebar,
Please.
and if it not affecting my current output of what I'm doing, my performance,
Hmm.
why does it matter?
That part, bro. And that's what I was confused about. Like, I'm performing well. Granted, I was probably like a year and a half into the industry. I was new into it, right? So I'm still learning, leadership changes. So who I was supposed to be learning under, they essentially like retired for lack of a better term. So a lot of learning fell back on me. So my learning curve had to speed up a lot faster. So I didn't have a lot of interaction with my other supervisors. So we was able to talk it out, have some conversations and stuff like that. Cause there are some things that I didn't tell her up front, just as far as not up front, but like while I was working there. So I had other companies reaching out to me for like jobs, right? So for example, and this is no boast, this is real life. The Miami Dolphins have reached out to me probably 3 or 4 months into the gig, like, hey man, we would love to have you come down here, interview for a role, um, and work with these pro athletes. Very enticing, like very enticing. For I used to,
Birdman hand rub type.
you feel me? I like okay, but some things are working. I was like, you know what? I just got here. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm gonna stay where I am, right? And I didn't tell my bosses, right? Like, because one, what good is information, right, to them in that moment. So when she came at me with essentially what it was a loyalty issue during my review, I was like, well, look, well, first off, are we on the same page now? Like, do you feel concerned? She's like, oh no, not really. I was like, okay, well, just for context to help further
And then they
strengthen.
be scary when they when you like kind of like address it like, hey, like
Yeah.
like are we like what's the real deal with the whole situation?
Yeah. So I told her, and she was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh wow, can I tell my husband? I was like, Shorty, I don't care like you can, but hopefully that shows you like if I really wanted to slide, I would have slid. And even now, like so, additional context. Once again, there's no boast, but something that people of color obviously have to work through and deal with on it when it comes to professionalism in the workspace. I have 3 degrees. I have a degree in criminal justice. I have a degree in higher education, and I have an MBA, right? And you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
um, I have the most degrees out of anybody at the company.
Talk heavy.
Anybody, right? From the ones that started the company, all that, right? So there is another colleague of mine. I think she's getting her master's degree as well. But it's like back to the main point. It's like if I wanted to slide, I would have slid. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really like I can do that. But I was like, I didn't flex that point. You feel me? 'Cause like, what's the point? Like you know that information too. So, but yeah, this is that was a situation that it really irked me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still working through it. I'm a work in progress there, as all of us are. But yeah, I didn't crash out on her. You know what I'm saying? Because that for me that wasn't. But I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Like that wouldn't have been Christ like. So I was like, nah, I can't do that.
Okay, so I know you saw on Facebook. I posted and I'm trying to ask a bunch of athletes I know because when I went back home, I was talking to some of my homeboys that I played football with,
Uh-huh.
and they was telling me about how they really had like an identity crisis issue after they got done playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't know, maybe I didn't love it as much as they did, but to be honest, I kind of moved on okay, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't know how it affected certain people and how it was so hard to adjust from going from that gridiron to the real world. So how was that adjustment for you? Was it easy for you to adjust?
Nah, it wasn't, man. So, um, but the last game we played, I had in my mind still like I was still gonna strive to play professionally, right? So I went back to the crib and I was still training. I working a little part-time job here and there, still chasing the dream. Could have played overseas for a little bit. I was like, nah, let me try to, get into the CFL or something like that. So wound up playing Arena League football for about a year and a half. Went to 3 different teams, and my last team I was on the Green Bay Blizzard, considered a rookie, obviously in their eyes, starter, all that stuff. It's a dirty game once you go into professional
Mm-hmm.
space, and I was a starter. I was performing well, all those things. I kid you not. I went back um, to watch the pro day at SEMO. Um, I got a call from the head coach. Pretty much, long story short, saying, "Yeah, you've been relieved of your duties here. Like, pack your stuff up and go. Mind you, I had just drove from Green Bay all the way down to Cape. All my stuff was still up there. This is a bye week, mind you. And I'm on the phone like, what? How I get fired on my day off? You know what I'm saying?
For real, like how this working out?
How that working? I'm performing, right? So, random like shock value. I'm thrown off my rock. So I drive up to Green Bay, get my stuff. So I had moved out of my apartment I was living in Lombard, back in suburb of Chicago. And I'm like, well, I gotta go back to my mama basement. I gotta go back to my mama house now. And that's what shook me. You feel me? Because I was like, I told myself once I left college, I actually told myself once I went off to college, I'm never coming back. Not as a knock to my OG now, but like I'm a man now. You feel me? So
And I want to put that for later on because that's a good point right there. Keep going.
yeah, so I'll find myself, put my stuff in storage, me and my mama basement, sleeping on a futon. I'm like, dang, bro, how we get here? You feel me? I got to a point where I couldn't watch football, didn't want to talk about it.
That was my boy with Tolkien. Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Real talk, like I didn't like any college football, NFL, all that stuff, bro. I'm good. My pops want to talk about it. I'm like very short with him in my response. I'm like, we don't care. So I had to do a lot of self work with that. So wound up trying to figure it out. I was driving Uber. I was a high school substitute teacher. And I was like, man, let me go back to school, bro. Like,
So, the quick,
yeah.
and I just want to know. So, what makes pros that appealing that make you wait that long before you just like, you know what, like this is not, I'm not receiving what I'm giving.
Yeah, for me, and I'll tell anybody this, like the indoor league, because it was trash. Number one,
Like trash players, or it was just like the organization overall was trash.
I think just how it was all set up. Like at first lived in a hotel, and then they would like bring food from a grocery store or whatever for us to, like, for lack of a better term, like pick from. And I'm pretty sure it was like leftovers that, you know, like I know one time I had grabbed some bread, because then I was moved into an apartment and sleeping on a mattress on the floor, right? I was grateful for having a roof over my head, but that's just how it was. Pull open the bread, moldy. So I was like, dang, bro. Like I was only getting like $200 a game.
And I know you taking right now, but you ain't had no shorties you could
Nah, bro.
couch hopped on back then?
Nah, funny story, true story. So I had it was some shorty that was trying to talk to me during that time, but I said, nah, I don't think this would be good for you, because I understand the rap that athletes in general, collegiate or professional, like get, right? Oh, they dogs, they not on this, like they cheaters, all that stuff. I was like, so for me, bouncing around the country, like, so I started in the state of Washington, all the way out west in Spokane, went to Philly for a couple weeks, then I was in Green Bay. I was like, that's not, to me, that would have been, I would have thought that would have been stressful on a woman. You feel me? And I didn't want to put them in that position, because there's another trash thing about where I was at in Green Bay. No knock on the orgs and all that stuff, but I appreciate the opportunity. We had practice, peep this, practice started at 10 p.m. at night.
What?
I'm flying. For real. So, because here's the thing, it was cats that was working full-time jobs. Like, it was cats, mind you, I'm like probably what, like 23, 24, and it was cats with full-blown families, married with kids, early to like mid-30s. I was like, when I started picking up on it, I was like, yeah, bro, I'm not, this is like, I need to do my thing so I can get a trial at the CFL or whatever, or you feel me, trying to maneuver like that, because in Green Bay, we was right next door to the Packers. So they would come out every now and then, you know what I'm saying, and check us out. So that's when I was like, yeah, no, I need to find a way. But Yeah, it was like I said, making $200 a game. I had health insurance by the grace of God because they provided for us, but they it wasn't on a crumb, bro.
200 a game. So what do you remember the day where you was like, you know what, this is it?
Uh, the day I got that call, I was like, dang, I think this might be it, bro. Because at that point, you gotta count the cost, right? Like, it's me, nickel and diamond, working, driving Uber, doing this. So I still have the flexibility to train and keep my body up to where it needs to be to play and perform. I still like reaching out to coaches. Like, is it really worth it right now? And as you know, the older you get, the shorter your clock is, right? Especially in the pros, right? If you're not performing or reach a certain point, it's not like with the NBA or like Major League Baseball where, hey, you can play in single A, double A, triple A, get pulled up at the age of 28 or whatever, and do your thing. So I was like, yeah. So pretty much at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm cooked. I need to figure something else out.
All right. So to piggyback off of that, indoor leagues, no offense. I be seeing like a lot of these people I went to school with who didn't play join these like arena league
Yeah.
football teams that think they nice and also then become coaches and try to coach your son. So how do you feel about trash ex players becoming coaches and teaching your sons?
Yeah, man. I think it's bad business, man. Like, granted, there are some trash players, former trash players that still understand the game and can coach and understand things, right? But I think where it gets a little dicey, bro, is when they still trying to like live out their glory days
Mm-hmm.
and prove something like, oh yeah, I remember back when I was in high school, I was doing da 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 da. Stop it. You was a water boy, man. Like, or in college, like you wasn't. We seen you in practice. You wasn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but to see people that I know coaching, they verify. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of like I don't know if you heard Deion Sanders say this, but he said he tried to stay away from coaching with his kids at first, but I forget how old they were. They was young. He said he had saw them like kids at a young age, like tackling, and it was just like improper form. And he started, hey, no, don't do it like this, do it like this. And next thing you know, he just said, let me go out here and do this myself because, you know, one, I know what I'm doing, and two, like obviously he has a passion for kids. So, and that's another point I'll bring up. Honestly, I think sometimes, not all the time, some of these coaches, like, they really don't care about these kids. They see people on CBS, ESPN coaching in the limelight. That's what they really want. Just like some athletes, right? Some athletes just want to be in the mix, you know what I'm saying? Be the talk of town or whatever the case is, when the real mission is like, if you're an athlete, becoming a better person, just talking about specifically like football, becoming a better man, becoming a better leader, being collaborative as a team, learning those skills and traits. The same things with coaches, right? Like for football, it's like, are you able to develop men into leaders that can be a value add to society?
And I think also whether these kids are coachable as well. I think
True.
it also starts at home too. Like
Mm-hmm.
these kids have to, like I was talking to my sister the other day, I feel like I don't know whether this new generation of kids is like they don't respect the voice of like other adults no more. Where back in the day it was like, yo, when an adult called you, you had to like kind of like address them or like talk to them proper. Where nowadays, like I think I was talking to Amon the other day. He said, him and his dad was at this camp or whatever. He said it's like this 12-year-old kid that's kind of like muscular, like look like a man child type thing.
Yeah.
And he's just on the side. And he's like, like how you doing during the 707? He's like, I mean, shit, these people suck. Like they ass. And he talking to them like just cursing. And he just like, oh, okay. But like when we was kids, it was like, yes, sir, yes, man. Well, it was no cursing. Whereas like these kids almost talking to you like they're your equals nowadays.
Yeah. It's the standard has shifted. I will say that. I think it's part of that. One, parents not parenting, want to be their friend, their kids' homies, be their friends. So there's a lack of discipline there, number one. But number two, I think the level of access that these kids have to the world now, with varying vantage points of what life should be or look like, has obviously increased tenfold. Social media, cell phones, technology, and all that stuff, right? And I always tell people technology, social media, it's a drug, right? When used properly, it can benefit and will benefit anybody. But when it's improperly used, it's detrimental and deadly, in certain aspects. So I think with these kids seeing things on TikTok, IG, that their parents maybe even teaching them something different, right? But at the rate that they're consuming other things from the media, from their classmates, versus how much input they're getting from their parents or guardian, it could be an imbalance, right? Because I was thinking, I got a nephew, and just thinking about like, man, okay, he's gonna be at school at one point, like just like we was, 8 to 10, 12 hours a day if he plays sports. Those inputs he gets from his classmates, how does that then balance out with his mom as far as those positive inputs that he needs to become and develop into the leader and man he's supposed to be, right? So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do now? Because he's 3. What do I need to do on a continual basis to make sure that those inputs are, um, I won't say superseding, but like competing at a high level, to almost combat some of those negative things that he may get from others that aren't beneficial towards him.
No, most definitely. And it's not all kids. There's just some good kids out there.
Facts.
I just feel like somewhere, I don't know whether our generation or like the one that's after us, but I really think like just like you said, this social media, these cell phones, these kids not wanting to go out. Like my dad called me all the time talking about how he mad that my nephew, his grandson don't go out, and I'm just like, I mean, are kids even outside nowadays? Like, is that even a thing? Like,
I think it depends on where you live. My direct answer is no. Right? I think moving to Texas, kids aren't outside as much. Now, granted, I don't live in suburbia, and I kind of live like downtown, right? So you obviously don't see as many kids just ripping and running around, going to the park and stuff. But I know growing up, grew up in a nearby suburb of Chicago, and we was outside. You know what I'm saying? Riding bikes, going to the park, like playing basketball, all those things. But nowadays, even if I'm driving around, I barely see like the kids on bikes riding around. Now, granted, we're in Texas too. Things are very far away. Like you gotta actually be mobile to get around. You feel me? Unless you live in, like I said, a community in a suburb somewhere. So, and I think I'll even say this: what the parents do will help influence if the kids should be outside or not, right? I think, just generally speaking, just from my experience, um, I was blessed enough to have my OG, like at a certain point in my life, she became a stay-at-home mom. My pop was still working. And, he would come home around like 6 or whatever the case was, and like, all right, y'all go outside. I mean, you did your homework, like go outside, like play for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Well, I was just thirsty to do that my own self. So I think that plays a role in it as well, because a lot of kids now just become iPad, tablet kids, just because parents like, here, do this so I can do my own thing, and not actually be active in their life and actually put them in situations to continue to develop without one of these. You feel me? So
do you want kids?
yeah, I do, bro.
So I still want kids too, but how do you feel about being a dad in your 30s, like being an older dad?
I ain't tripping for real, because I feel like, one, I'm way mature. Two, I got more money in my pocket, right? Like, I know obviously, like, for me, I consider myself like a late bloomer when it comes to those things. Like, it was folks that, we know they was running the bag, you know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. But I'm glad I stayed the course. I think thirdly, I take a high pride in my health. So I consider myself like, whenever I become 50, 60, I'm not worried about being out of shape, because like my health is very important to me. I may not be able to run as fast or do certain things, but I'll be able to keep up, you know what I'm saying, when those kids are at a younger age. And Yeah, because I've seen some folks that, you
So,
know,
so how are you able to maintain your your fitness with such a busy lifestyle? Because to me, it feels like nowadays everybody is just too busy for anything. So how are you able to stay consistent and keep that a main priority in your life?
yeah, man. I treat my body like a Ferrari. You feel me?
Not a Honda, you don't fuck with
Now shout
Honda.
out to my Honda. Look, I drive a Honda.
Dang,
You know me. I've been in a. I
a
take care
sturdy,
of my Honda.
reliable.
A sturdy, reliable. You know what I'm saying? But in the sense of like a Ferrari, like it's priceless. You feel me? It's very expensive, and if you don't take care of it, it's gonna crash out on you at some point. You know what I'm saying? So for me, staying hydrated, working out, eating as clean as I can, right? That's not saying I'm not gonna eat a cheeseburger or some
How
pizza.
many hours of sleep do you get in a day?
All right, so two-part answer. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to get anywhere between on the low end, like 4 to 5 hours a day, on the high end, six. Now I'm trying to get between 6 to 8 now. Cause I
They
get
what
a
they said a man needs 7 to 8 to maintain his health in his older age.
correct. And so I get up at around like 4:30 Monday through Friday, right? And obviously that means I need to get to bed around 9, 10 o'clock. Sometimes it's not viable. But playing sports, early mornings, late nights, it kind of like prepared my me mentally and my body to still perform at a high level while maybe not having as much sleep. Now, is that an everyday thing? Absolutely not. Because they say you can't catch up on sleep. You know what I'm saying? Once you lost, it's gone. So it's more or less about recharging that battery. So now looking at 6 to 8 hours, Monday, well, more than Monday through Friday, but Sunday to Sunday. And yeah, doing that, lifting weights. Look, I'm gonna say it's for everybody, right? This includes the ladies too, man, because a lot of shorties, man, I ain't finna lift no weights. I'm not trying to like a dude, muscular, all this stuff. Look, the older you get, obviously the weaker our bones will get. You know what I'm saying? You need to move some kind of weight. You don't gotta be a lot, so that way you can keep some form of muscle, because that's gonna continue to deteriorate as you get older. Now you think about it, you need something to help support you in the event of a fall or whatever the case is, and just for any day natural movements. You feel
We
me?
getting old. Yeah, I about to be. Yeah, he right because we are definitely getting older, and
Yeah, like
I'm starting to realize my body ain't what it used to be.
yeah, you don't got, and I tell people you don't got to do the most. Like if a person can lift, I say on the low end 2 times a week, but like do some form of like walking or cardio, another 2 or 3 times in the same week, you should be fine, right? But it's also what you put into your body too. I gotta tell people all the time, would you put regular gas into a Ferrari? Absolutely not, right? So it's the same thing with our body. Now, is your Ferrari gonna crash out if one, you're taking care of it, and then one day I'm in a rush, I need to put regular gas in it? Nah, it's not gonna crash out, right?
So how do you deal with temptation then?
Um, Keeping the goal in mind. Um,
That's easier said than done though.
this is true, right? Do I fold some? Yeah, absolutely. Look, I tell people all the time, I'm a realist. I'll say this, I'm realistically optimistic. That's one of the codes I live by. And temptation knocks at my door on a daily basis. And guess what? You probably seen this before. One dude said, every day we get a chance and a choice. Every day. For me, when those choices or those chances pull up, I think, okay, left or right, like, what are the consequences, good or bad, by doing this? If I do this, am I okay with the consequences, or am I not okay? And that then needs to influence my decision thereafter, right? I think a lot of people don't think, and I read this out of Ray Dalio, one of his books. I think it's called Principles. A lot of people only think to the first and second level of consequences, right? They never think about the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth consequence. So, for example, I'm just gonna use cheeseburgers for example. If I'm going and eat a cheeseburger every other day is ever gonna hurt me? In the current moment, probably not. But that's like a first and second level consequence. Like, it's not good, but it's not bad. Third, fourth, and fifth is like, okay, if I continue to do that for the prolonged future or for the foreseeable future without doing X, Y, and Z, eating clean these other days, drinking water, working out, 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the line, that could come back to bite me. You feel me? A lot of people don't even process things like that. So I'm grateful that that's how my brain works. And I try to at least help encourage and influence people to think past those.
Was you raised like that, or was that just something that kind of you instilled in yourself over time?
I don't think I was necessarily raised like that. I think that's something that by the grace of God, was given. You know what I'm saying? And I've always thought about, even from a young age, like, okay, if I do this, then this happens. Like I'm pretty analytical when it comes to certain things, and I've gotten to the point where I can like do it like relatively quickly. You know what I'm saying? And certain books that I've read have helped like strengthen that. And then also learn from other people's mistakes too, which has saved me a lot of time. Not saying I don't make mistakes still to this day, but it saved me a lot of time, heartache, and allowed me to help encourage or help prevent other people on their own accord from making mistakes I've seen other people make. So I'm like, hey, look, I know you're considering this, but you should consider not doing it because of da 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 da. And at that point, I say, the choice is yours. You feel me? I tell people all the time, if you come to me for advice, I'm not in the business telling you what to do. These are all suggestions, point blank, period. And if you want to take it, cool. If not, cool. Just be comfortable with whatever comes thereafter.
Exactly. All right, to get into some just topics, some random topics. You know, you came in, you was hearing me listen to the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that whole Drake suing UMG? Do you even know about that? Do you need like any refreshers on that?
I do know about it, but I'm not as in tune with it. Like, I know he did it because he felt like, and correct if I'm wrong, like they was boosting the sales, or I guess the listens are on the viewership.
Yeah, they were saying pretty much UMG is pretty much the management team of both Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So Drake was just like, you know, we know that you had bots streaming our music, and we also had certain things with all this AI where it'd be like, you know, it will say like a Drake lyric or something like that, and Kendrick Lamar, not like us would come up all the time. So it was just like, you know, you're making this fire bigger than what it needs to be, kind of thing.
I got you.
But my whole thing is like, if you know that's something that's being done, that means you was probably a person that benefited from that at one point, because there's no way that the biggest artists underneath their corporation out of nowhere just make these allegations if you haven't seen it done before.
Yeah.
But my question to you is like, is this hip hop, or is this like, is Drake even hip hop, or like who? Why does one? I don't really think this matter of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like, this is just so not hip hop. And at the end of the day, people are just saying like, well, if he wins, he's going to win billions. So it's all like, at the end of the day, who really wins? I'm like, the person who won the rap battle. Like, I don't get this whole, like, you know, it's almost like, all right, just because he's making more money or probably like does more number, doesn't mean that he had a good year. To me, it's almost just like, damn, like, would Jadakiss had did this? Would Beanie Siegel? Would Jay-Z had done this back in the day? Even Kanye West would have had did this weak ass shit. You know what I mean? And excuse my language, but it's just, I don't have any issues with Drake, but just seeing him just try to sue and say like he not getting bots used for him as well, it's just mind boggling to me.
Yeah. Do I think it's hip hop? The suing part, no. It's competition. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I don't know how much of this is like, you know, like planned stage. You know, sometimes they do that with some of these rap beefs.
Yeah.
But I think it's competition, and to me, if Drake feels like, oh, I'm losing the battle, like this isn't fair, I'm gonna sue, like that's lame. That's corny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, take an L and move on gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not saying that you can't come back and, you know, develop a fire album. You know what I'm saying? That tops Kendrick stuff. You feel me? So
The the biggest thing I be disliking is that it seems like nowadays, I'm not. I would say like anything probably past 2015 or something like that. I feel like artists use hip hop just as a gateway, and they don't really do it for the love. Like they do it because like you know what, it's the easiest way for me to get inside of fame and whatever you want to call it. And once I get that one hit or that one or not one, what's it called TikTok now? That one
Yeah.
TikTok or something like that, that little jingle or something like that.
Mhm.
Then I can go on to do other things like acting and comedy and stuff like that. And that's where I just have an issue where it's like for me, it's just like Drake. I can tell a while ago he stopped kind of caring about hip hop, and I don't think it was because he don't love it. I think it just got too easy to him. It's just like
Yeah.
there's no competition. There's nobody on my level. But then when you beg for competition and somebody come punch you in your face,
Yeah.
his whole reaction wasn't cool to me. You know, everything before that whole I would say everything before Drake was just like, you know, I'm a bow out. like you could talk to the fans like it was fun. It was a little workout thing. I was just like, yeah, you can't say like, hey, you don't want to start beef and then leave when you want to.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like I don't know. It's very interesting. I just brought it up because it's like you know something that's currently happening.
Facts.
But to me, it's just I don't know. Like when I watch a lot of this stuff, to me, everything seemed like wrestling, like it's scripted. Like
For
this
sure.
hip hop stuff, I feel like it's scripted.
For sure.
We don't have to get into politics. I feel like politics is scripted. I feel like everything it just has like a person behind just writing a story. And it's just interesting just being a spectator of it all, especially me being grown and me actually like understanding it.
Yeah.
Back when I was young, I didn't really didn't know the world, but now that I'm older, I actually kind of like know a little bit of the world.
Mhm.
It is very strange. But back to you. What would 30-year-old Reggie tell 20-year-old Reggie? What differences do you see in yourself from back then to now, or are you the kind of the same person?
Yeah, I would say I think about this often. Like I was never as confident as I may have like portrayed in a lot of the situations. I used to be a very passive person. Just even taking it back to ball, like playing DB, like you would think most DBs super cocky, like I do this, like ooh, all this stuff. Um, I wasn't all the way like confident in my abilities. Like I knew what I was doing, but I used to play a game. I used to play the game like scared in some instances, like not to get beat. And I think it was like
That's real. That's real. You said that.
yeah, I think it was like a mutual. I think it was like it was a. I think two parties were responsible to a degree, right? So I love all my coaches I've had over the course of my lifetime, but you know I think certain coaching staffs influence confidence within players, right? And when I first got to SEMO, like we were a very, I think, passive defense, a lot of zone coverage, like not aggressive and things. And I kind of took on that identity because in high school, like I was a very aggressive like player. A lot of people don't know. So I played multiple positions in high school. I played linebacker, safety, a little corner, running back, fullback. So like I was like downhill, like aggressive. You know, playing corner. That was my first time playing like corner in college when I got to SEMO. So when Coach Took and them pulled up on us, like if I had like another year or two underneath their belt, like my whole demeanor on the field probably would have changed like internally too. You feel me? Like that last year I was playing, I was like I played a little bit more freer, not trying to play as scared and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me telling my younger self, man, be confident. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. And I think growing up, I heard that a lot. Like, oh, Red, you're so perfect. I was like, bro, I'm the furthest thing from that. I just, by the grace of God, have been able to learn how to make, you know, decisions that have resulted in positive results that have reduced me making mistakes. Right. So I would tell my younger self that and yeah, sometimes you gotta take a risk, you feel me?
Do you feel? And this is kind of me projecting right now.
Yeah.
So to kind of how I want to piggyback. Okay, so I feel like my issue was I didn't know when to quit. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
uh, I think it was hard for me to start something and not finish it.
Yeah.
When even if it might have been detrimental to like the whole process of things, where it's like what, like if your hands on the stove, like let it go, like you don't have to
Right.
prove a point. But I also kind of felt like you said people say you did things right, and I feel like people always say that I did things right, but I feel like I didn't. I really think this is what I was going to kind of say to you, but it's kind of interesting you said that is that I think my issue was that my 50% was a lot of people 100%.
Merch. Merch.
And when you're 50%, somebody else 100%, it kind of make you slow down yourself in a way where like you're not
Mm-hmm.
going 100% all the time. And I kind of felt like, people will compliment me on stuff where I'm like, yo, this is like the bare minimum. Like, this is not even
Mm-hmm.
like special, but like to them, it might be like
Yeah.
their top quality thing. So for me, it's always just been always doing my 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like going at the pace that I should be at, not like, matching the pace of other things. So
Yeah.
that's something I would definitely tell myself when I was younger. But I was gonna ask you that. Do you feel like, because I feel like, you probably feel like, hey, I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm not gonna say you don't feel like you exceptional or that, but you're just like, I'm doing this because I enjoy it, I love it. But I know there might be some things where you might be like, this is nothing. It's to somebody it's like amazing.
Yeah. It's something that came to mind when you was talking, like the standard is the standard, right? And I think that's a battle that a lot of people face is how do I reconcile with, you know, okay, somebody's trying their absolute hardest at this, and I'm like, okay, this is easy. Like, what you tripping on? You feel me? Like, so I'm a coast, right? I'm just gonna conform, and I've experienced that in a lot of different settings, and I have to keep reminding myself, like, man, why would I cheat myself out of my best, right? Because by me giving 100%, I'm only gonna make myself better, and hopefully that would make my peers, teammates better too in some capacity. Obviously, what comes that what like people that hate, like Reggie trying to show off, man, like ooh all this stuff, and it's like no, like I have a first and foremost I have a duty to myself to bring the best version of myself to the table every day, right? Because to me, like we talked about image earlier, if I'm just bringing 50%, yes, my peers, teammates, coworkers may be like, Red, you're killing it, keep it up. But inside, I'm like, that's just that's the bare minimum. So am I really being my true self? You feel me? So for me, it's just figuring that out and reconciling with that on a daily basis. Um, and I've learned that when people may think I'm meeting expectation standards, I'm like, and it's easy to me. I tell them like I need more. Like, let's turn it up a notch, or I'm just gonna crank it up a notch and just show you, right? Like I've experienced that at work where I've been feeling like, man, like this. A lot of stuff I'm doing is cake work, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I've vocalized like, hey, like, give me more because something I told myself when I got done playing ball was the same way I went extremely hard to prepare my body physically to go to war, for lack of a better term. I do that now intellectually, emotionally, mentally. You feel me? So just putting that all together to make sure that I'm being true to myself in every capacity possible because not only will I continue to take advantage of the opportunities God has given me, I'll continue to be true to myself, but also potentially, hopefully, help influence somebody to raise their level of how they're doing something to better impact everyone that's within our sphere of influence. Feel me? So
So have you always been all inclusive? Like you want to make sure everybody comes up with you? Has it always been something in you?
Yeah, like a detriment I have. Like, you know, when they say on the airplane, like, mask come down, put your mask on first. I used to be, still am to a degree to this day, like, I don't put my mask on whoever around me first. One,
Damn, I don't know. I'm doing all that
nah, for real. I
now.
just think just,
Yo,
you
okay,
know,
okay.
and I've learned that that comes at a price, right? It's cost me time, energy, effort, you know what I'm saying? Like financial resources, all those things. Um,
So, do you think you're a people pleaser?
I used to be, yeah, very bad, real bad. What is it? Real bad, real
I
bad,
was
bro.
watching Jaleel White Urkel,
Hmm.
and he was talking about how he was like a severe people pleaser when he was younger, where he was just like he was just doing it because people liked that he was doing it. He don't even know
Yeah.
whether it was like really something that he wanted. And I feel like I was a people
Hmm.
pleaser too, but I ain't gonna lie. When I finally found the word no, when I finally found the power of the word no, I ain't been saying it. I've been saying it ever since.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's a major flaw of mine, right? And I don't blame other people. You feel me? It's like an ATM, right? If you go to ATM, just punch numbers in without putting your card in, and they give you money. Would we stop going back to the ATM? Probably not. Most people wouldn't. All right. So for me, I've had to tell myself first, like, bro, your cup is empty. What good are you to anybody else right now? You're giving them scraps. Why would you cheat them out of the best version of yourself when you're not taking care of yourself first? So I've had to learn, but like, yeah, no, I can't do it. And when I do that, to kind of help with that people pleasing portion of me, if I can't do it, I wind up trying to find somebody else that could help or another resource. Hey, I can't do it, but here's such and such, or here's this resource. Check them out. They should be able to help you. So, yeah, it's bad business, bro.
All right, so all this good stuff. Have you ever used somebody before?
I feel like, yeah, yeah,
What phase of your life was you in?
probably after I graduated. And it was like in like micro moments. You feel me? I'd even say to a degree, like when it comes to networking, I don't think it was ever intentional or malicious, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna connect with this person because I know they are connected to this person and I need that connect. So I'm gonna reach out to them and stuff like that. So it was never like, yeah, I'm finna bird man, I'm finna do you dirty. You know what I'm saying? And use you. Um, so yeah, I would say that in that regard. I obviously think um when it comes to like women at time, not saying I was like a user, but more or less, hey, it was a certain point in time where I was like, yeah, this ain't going nowhere, but I was getting whatever I was getting from them. And until I'm cut off, it's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I've grown for that. And to anyone who may be listening, who may have felt that way, I am deeply sorry. I was still growing.
And I don't think you the person, but I feel like some people like being used.
Yeah.
As sad as it to say, I feel like certain people out there where it'd be like, even when you tell them like, you know what, I don't want to like this wrong, but some in them is like, I don't know, it's very interesting. Like I feel like certain people put themselves in it purposely, and it's almost like they just like that constant trauma in a way.
Yeah, I would say it's probably part of that. And also, too, like some people just like the feel of being needed.
Hmm.
You
And I
know?
think that's the thing with men. Well, I don't want to make this into no boy. Okay, I'm not gonna make this relationship. But I had one thing that for I didn't want to get deep in that. But when it
Mm,
comes to, I know you have a girl and everything, but when it comes to
yeah.
love, how has your mindset on love changed since 10 years ago?
Man, it's shifted a lot, bro. I know at one point in my relational, like with women and stuff, like I would, and this wasn't on some misogynistic, like the man's better than a woman, but I wouldn't let I know a lot of shorties nowadays would love this. I would feel like almost like less than a man if my shorty picked the tab up. I never forget my first time somebody I was dating, first time like letting a shorty like pay for a date. Like I was smoked, bro. I was like, yo, this is weird. What's going on? Like all this kind of, but she was like, nah, like I got it. It's cool. Like no heart, like it's cool. And it's not like I didn't have it. She's like, nah, like I just like you deserve me to treat you sometimes too. I was like, all right, merch. Like that was a point of growth for me. And really, I think valuing what that woman brought to the table, right? I think a lot of times in the past, I may have just like went for looks and stuff like that, and oh
So
shit, tough.
where is looks ranked right now in your 30s?
Oh, I mean, look, right now, like my shorty, she tough. You feel me? Where is
Because
it ranked? I would say it's
it's not as high as older you get. That's what I'm really trying to say. Is like as older I get, the more I'm just like, yo, this person like actually like can I actually like hang out with this person and like this person?
exactly,
Like
exactly.
looks is a plus, but it's not as important as it was in my 20s, where it's like, yo, she gotta be fine or she gotta have a fat ass type shit.
Yeah, nah. For me, it's probably 3. Yeah, it's definitely 3. You feel me? Because for me, one is they gotta believe in Jesus Christ. Gotta be, yoked up on that, man. Second is mentality is major. Major. No cap. I can't weak minded, like toss to and fro. Like I can't do that. That because it's how I'm wired. I know it would drive that woman who maybe not saying they're crazy, but not as stable, with handling adversity and things of that nature. It'll probably drive them crazy. Like, oh my god, like why are you thinking like that? Like, nah, because it'll piss me off. Like I don't even get mad like that, but that stuff pisses me off. So, and then looks probably come right thereafter. You know what I'm saying?
So are you a jealous type?
Um, I think a little bit, like not too much though.
All right, so is it so if your girl, say like in the next month or so out of nowhere, came with a new best friend, but it's of the opposite sex, would that be okay with you? Would that raise an eyebrow with you?
No, I definitely raise the eyebrow because I mean, new, right? Like to me, anything like my short, she got a male best friend, right? And vetted some stuff, like ask real questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was this beforehand? Was y'all doing anything? Like, you feel me?
But is it insecurity though? Like, should you trust your lady?
Yes, you should, Judge Lady. 2, these are valid questions to ask, I think, of anything, right? Because that gives each of us the opportunity, I think, 1, for her to demonstrate trust or honesty, you know what I'm saying? And then 2, it gives me the opportunity to make a decision. You feel me? If you say, hey, this is what it was, it's not that no more, I have a choice to make.
Or what? He was hired at my job 3 months ago. This is my new like bestie from work.
And I'd be like, okay, well, it'd be a serious conversation. I'd be like, well, what makes him
Ooh, it
now?
would? I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. Not unless I have seen signs. I really don't know whether I would trip or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, new, right? Like,
That's a key word. I say if it's new,
yeah,
it
new is
really depends how much I know my lady. If that really makes sense.
yeah, new is a sticky situation, right? Like, I think if it's hey, it's been my best friend for like 10 plus years, I even say 5 plus years, that's a bet. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not tripping off that. I'm asking questions. I can make a decision from there and run with it. But you talking about new? Yeah, it's a little dicey because I mean we know how some cats are. You feel me?
No, I say definitely interesting because I seen something where it was like, is your a significant other allowed to have a best friend of the opposite sex? And I feel like allow is a crazy kind of way to
Sure.
put it. But I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm kind of the same way where you were. Just like, yo, if I have a girl and she has like, if I meet a girl, she already has like 3 or 4 male best friends. Like, who am I to be like, it's me or them?
Yeah.
But like you said, I will have some questions where it's like, yo, who's John? Like, where he come from? I never heard about John before.
Yeah.
So I probably would say it, but I probably would ask her like a question. But she was just like, he's just like a work friend. I'm like, I probably would let it go. But I'm the type of person where it's like, you got one chance with me. Like, I don't really believe in second
Merch.
chances. So it's like, if you are the type of person going to cheat and I find out, it's just,
Smoke.
it's over. Like, I just leave it at that.
No, I agree with you 100% on that, bro. And I don't know. It's like we could know our shorties, right? Like, yes, it's really just a platonic friendship, but you also got to judge, not judge, that's the wrong word, but you also evaluate. That's a good word. Evaluate the other party, because some people just are malicious, right? Just like some shorties, right? They might be trying to be buddy buddy with us, right? But they got ill intent because they see that she got what she want, and I'm gonna try to get in where I fit in, kind of mess some stuff up and make a mine. But I don't, for me, to go back to the main point, am I jealous? I think there's a small point. Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody talking, like having a casual conversation with my gal and I don't know him, I'm like, what's to do? But then I'm going to chill, right? Because for me, that kind of goes back to our other conversation about confidence. Like, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table. And this is me, like, not as humble as I can say it, is like, I know that I'm a like rare breed. So if she would want to jeopardize that, hey, by all means, shorty, like, have at it. But once again, like, I trust my gal. I don't got no issues and all that stuff. So
No, that's solid.
yeah, man.
So we gonna end it right there. Before I end it, do you have like first of all, like what are you passionate about right now? What are you? What's driving you right now?
Yeah, man. It's an interesting question. So for me right now, I'm in the real estate space, real estate development. That's really what I am focused on right now. I love business, um, in a holistic sense, man. Just um, economics, how the global economy works, how national economy works as well too. My vision and plan for my life is to become a real estate developer. Now, just trying to figure out what.
So what exactly is a real estate developer?
Sure. So there you'll hear two different terms. So developer and a builder.
Mhm.
So I'll talk about a builder first. Builders essentially just kind of go into communities, like build, do a lot of spot builds, right? And there's a very like kind of like short process with that. Not saying that they can't be classified as builders. So no knock to anybody who identifies as a builder, man. Y'all doing good work too. A developer literally starts from obviously the pre-construction to development, then to asset management. So they assume, for the most part, all of the risk, right? And they can be in various forms. We do industrial, multifamily, single family, all those things, apartment complex, whatever, office, and things of that nature. So yeah, right now I work in the multifamily space with tax credits. Very unique um, industry, to say the least. Man, it's a challenging one, as we all know. It's expensive to be a human nowadays.
Is it good right now to get into that job field, or is it like something you should like maybe wait on a little bit?
Um, it depends like on what role one is looking at. I think it's I want to say it's iffy because obviously with these potential tariffs, and I say potential because Donnie T is not in office yet, but with these tariffs coming up, that's going to impact the housing market. From lumber and all those things. So the price of doing business when it comes to real estate is going to go up. So I think when it comes to looking for jobs, yeah, it's always going to be jobs. It just depends on what roles one is looking for in the industry.
My question to you is this: I want to know what is the job security in your field? Is there job
Um,
security?
I would say yes. It just depends on it. So real estate happens in cycles, right? It's not like the funeral business. Like, obviously, funeral business or hospitals, the funeral business, them always gonna be in style because people gonna die, unfortunately, and babies gonna be born, right? So it's always a need for that nursing. You feel me? All those things. With real estate, there's times where it's hot, times where it's cooled off, but people will forever need somewhere to live. people will forever need somewhere to do business and things of that nature, whether it's industrial, office, or what have you. So just a matter of the cycle and season of the real estate market. So some folks might get laid off during certain season, but then there might be a high influx of hiring because there's a lot of demand based on the cycle of where real estate is in certain points.
What do you see your career life expectancy in this industry? Like, how long do you see yourself doing it before you like retire or go to something else?
Great question. I think, man, like once I get to a point, I can't even put an age on it, man, because you can do real estate. It's like golf. You know what I'm saying? Because you can be involved, but not be involved to a point where, like, you're hands on. You feel me? In the mix. So for me, like when I get to a point where the residual income that comes in from my assets can literally take care of me and my family, and I don't gotta like solely depend on getting developer fee and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's when I'll probably like, all right, I'm done actually actively developing. I'll invest my funds into projects, become a guarantor on some things, because that's even a whole nother conversation. Become a guarantor where I'm putting my capital up just in case, obviously, the project may fall through, whatever, but I'll get a percentage of ownership in the deal, which then will give me kickback over the long haul. So,
Okay.
yeah, bro.
Nice. So, Reg, I appreciate you coming out. Is there anything you want to, end this all with before we let you go?
Man, no, just appreciate you taking time to invite me out, man. It's always a pleasure, bro, to catch up. Man, proud of you with all the stuff that you've done. We'll continue to do, man. Love you, bro. And anything I can do to continue to help you out, man, just let me know. And for those listening, appreciate y'all listening. And just remember, hey, the standard is the standard. So when you set the bar, keep meeting it. And don't let nobody adjust your 100%. Go 100% as often as you can.
No, that's tough. It's your boy, TravTheRealist. I appreciate you guys. It's November 30th. I probably won't be dropping these episodes till January. I want to get everything set up right. So I want to get a few episodes going on. So that's why I'm trying to have conversationals that can be timeless, not just, a timepiece where you can just, it gets lost in translation. So please tune in to the future episodes. Hopefully I can get Reggie on some more episodes as well. I'm trying to get some recurring people. So if you do see him again, just know that it's because he's one of the real people I know. Real quick, did you want to promote your real estate page in case anybody want to like come out in Dallas and find any places to live?
For sure. No, I appreciate that, man. So look, you can find me on social media. My main page is Reggie Jennings _. My real estate page on IG is Reggie J _real estate. So roll with Reg, man. It'll be the best decision you made when it comes to real estate. So buy, sell, lease, invest. I'm here to help, man. So looking forward to blessing y'all and helping y'all out.
One last question. What is the best area for a young family to move into Dallas right now, or Texas? What's the best area?
Man, I say if you're looking for something that's affordable, I'm biased. I live in Fort Worth, man. Hey, Fort Worth is on its way up and coming. Get in where you fit in early, because obviously right now the Metroplex in itself is booming. But if you're looking for something that's of a high quality, cost efficient, and things of that nature, looking at Fort Worth, obviously people moving up further north Dallas towards Frisco, Plano, and things of that nature. And I'll say this too, man, I want to show love to South Dallas, man. It's definitely becoming the place to be. Don't let what you hear on the net, people, South Dallas, nah. Check it out for yourself, man. It's growing and upcoming. So yeah, I would say those areas.
Nice. Your boy TravTheRealist. Remember to roll with Reg, and remember to always, let me rephrase that. I was gonna say something different, but what I really want to say is keep the main thing. Love who love you, and just keep going. There's so many things that I have dropped because I said I was getting too old. Time has run out. But honestly, it's never too late. So whatever you're passionate in, whether it's podcasting, whether it's real estate, whether it's even like any other industry, just keep focused on it because you got to put your hours in. I'm really focused now to put my 10,000 hours in. If you're not putting work in, if you're not working at least 4 or 5 hours on your craft, then honestly, you're not really loving it or you're not really serious for real. So I really want to start branching out more. I want to do more. I want to network with more people. So please, if you're out there, if you do see this video and you want to connect, just reach out to my main social media page and we can connect. Remember, it's your boy TravTheRealist, and as always, love. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. We have similar videos above. For exclusive content, please follow our Patreon, which is patreon.com/BearviewMedia. See you next time. Peace.